Have you ever heard this from your wife? I love you, but I'm no longer in love with you anymore. Most husbands hear that sentence and immediately think, oh man, my marriage is over. But that sentence rarely appears out of nowhere. In most cases, it means something deeper has been happening for a long time. And if you misunderstood what that sentence actually means, you'll end up trying to fix the wrong problem. In this video, I'm going to show you what that sentence really reveals and the 4 things you need to understand if you want to reconnect with your wife. When you understand these 4 things, the entire dynamic of the relationship is going to begin to change. When your wife says, I love you, but I'm no longer in love with you anymore, most guys hear rejection. But what she's communicating is something very, very different. What she's really saying is, I don't see a way for things to move forward or for things to change. What she's saying is, I've tried different things. I've tried bringing things up. I've tried explaining how I feel, and nothing seems to make a difference. So eventually, what does she do? She stops trying. Not because she doesn't care, but because she stopped believing that anything that she does would work. If you've ever heard this sentence in your marriage, or you're worried that you might hear it one day, leave a comment below. Anyone who comments the word seen on this video, I'll send you a link to my free scene method, something that you can start using today to help you in your relationship. This is where so many couples get stuck today. Arguments in marriage are often failed attempts at connection. They look like arguments about the dishes, money, schedules, but underneath all of those arguments, there are 2 people that are trying to feel understood. And when that understanding keeps failing, people slowly start giving up. Think about it like this: 2 people running a race. You might feel like your marriage is at mile 10, but your wife feels like your marriage is still stuck back at mile 2. If you're trying to fix things from mile 10 while she's still experiencing mile 2, nothing you try will work. And it's not because you don't care, but because the 2 of you are starting from completely different places. And if you want to understand how relationships actually work and how to build a strong marriage, make sure you subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about helping husbands and wives understand each other better and build great marriages. Before you can fix anything in your marriage, you have to understand where your wife actually is. There are 4 things that determine that. I call these 4 things the scene method. This is exactly what I teach husbands I work with when they feel nothing they're trying is working. Scene stands for story, emotion, expectations, and needs. Part 1 is the story. Every person in a marriage is telling themselves a story about their relationship. Your wife might be telling herself, he doesn't really listen. He doesn't notice the effort I put in. He doesn't understand how I feel. And the story someone believes shapes how they experience that relationship. Part 2 is emotions. What is she feeling right now? Is it frustration? Is it loneliness? Is it disappointment? The third piece is expectations. What did she expect marriage to be that isn't actually happening right now? And the 4th is needs. What need underneath all this hasn't been met? So often it's the need to feel understood. There's another piece to this that so many husbands don't realize. At some point in the relationship, our wives stop explaining themselves. And when that happens, us as husbands, we often think, she doesn't even want to try and talk about it anymore. But that's not what's actually going on. She explained it before, a bunch of times. She tried bringing it up in conversations. She's tried explaining how she felt. And every time she did that, the conversation turned into an argument, or it got dismissed, or nothing changed. So eventually, she stopped explaining. Not because the problem disappeared, but because explaining it started feeling pointless. And this is where so many couples start running into the same patterns. A wife brings something up that's bothering her. The husband tries explaining, saying things like, "That's not what I meant," or "You're misunderstanding this whole thing." From his perspective, he's trying to solve the problem. But from her perspective, the conversation just skipped right past how she felt. So that same conversation happens again later on. And eventually, both people feel frustrated. The husband thinks, "Why do we keep having this same argument?" And the wife thinks, "He still doesn't understand what I'm trying to say." This happens all the time, and it's important to understand something here. This isn't happening because one person is bad at marriage. Most couples simply never learn how to understand each other. The husband doesn't fully understand how his wife experiences things. The wife doesn't fully understand how the husband thinks about things. So both people are just reacting to each other without really seeing the other person's inner world. And when that keeps happening long enough, over and over again, distance begins to grow. The good news is this. When couples begin to understand the 4 pieces of the scene method, the entire dynamic of the relationship starts to shift. Because the goal isn't proving who's right. The goal here is understanding what the other person is experiencing. When a husband begins understanding his wife's story, her emotions, her expectations, and her needs, she begins to feel understood again. And when someone feels understood, they naturally begin to open up again. The same thing begins to happen in the other direction. The wife starts to see the husband's perspective as well. And that pattern that's been repeating itself for years finally gets interrupted. That interruption creates space. And inside that space, connection has a chance to grow. If you want connection in your marriage, it starts with understanding your spouse's inner world. If anything in this video resonated with you, follow the page, comment "scene" below, and I'm going to share with you the link to my free scene method. These are the 4 steps that you can start implementing into your own relationship today to start reconnecting with your wife.